All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. I'm going to apologize for my congestion. Ooh, the sinuses are something else. So you may hear me making some noise. I'm going to try to keep it low. But we are on week 3 of the Diddy trial. And now we have P. Diddy's ex-assistant details horrifying things that happen. I'll just say that. I don't even know if I can repeat it. But, you know, I said this week we're probably going to get more into like the Rico stuff, you know, that's really going to put him away. If it happens, I'm going to do my best to try to keep everything that I'm hearing in this video in. But as you guys know, certain things cannot be repeated in a reaction video. So I'll probably have to trim out some stuff. But we are on the Law and Crime Network channel. All right. Again, appreciate all the love and support with you guys coming over. We ain't gonna waste no more time. I think this is Capricorn Clark. What she had testified. So let's jump right into it.
And welcome back to Law and Crime, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and thanks for joining us for our live coverage of the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial out of New York Federal Court. Right now, they're on a lunch break. Gives us time to analyze what's happened so far as we begin week 3 in the prosecution of this case. And really interesting testimony from what we're getting reports on what happened in court today. But by the way, for the next hour or so, we're going to be taking your questions on YouTube. Any questions you have about today's testimony, anything about that's happened in the case so far, where you think the case is going to go, submit them on YouTube, and me and my great panel of guests are going to break them down. But before I bring in my guests, I got to bring on right now Elizabeth Milner, Law and Crimes reporter, who has been in that courtroom in New York Federal Court every single day of testimony, including today.
Hey, she's been doing a great job. Great job. You know, when I was trying to play catch up, I was watching videos from this channel. Very informative, man. Very informative. That's what's dangerous, though, about reacting to a video, because it's so much information. You have to trim out so much. Very detailed. Shout out to her.
Hey, Elizabeth, it's great to see you. I will ask you about what the vibe is and what we're seeing in the court in a minute, but I have to start with the testimony of Capricorn Clark. So this former assistant to Sean Combs, we knew she was going to take the stand. She had been mentioned last week during Kid Cudi's testimony. I want to take this in pieces if I can. So, because I know we have a little bit of time with you. So just talk to me real quick about how she began her testimony and how she started working for Sean Combs. And then we'll move into more of the specific allegations regarding Kid Cudi.
Yeah, well, Jesse, from what Capricorn Clark said while on the stand today, she said that she and Diddy actually go back before she actually started working with him. She said she met him around 2002, and then from there, later on, that's when she started getting into his employment around 2004, between 2004 to 2006. So when she was first brought on, she was brought on as a personal assistant, and she said actually on the first day of the job, she was taken to Central Park. And you might think, oh, we're going to go to Central Park, it's going to be great. But that's not really how she described her first day on the job. She said she went there with Sean Combs, Diddy, and she also went there with Paul Alford. Now, who is Paul Alford? He's actually the security guard that we've known about for a number of testimony, right? But she's actually talking about Uncle Paulie. And so she said that she was brought to Central Park with them. And then she kind of gets into why they would go to Central Park. And it was essentially to threaten Capricorn Clark. Why? Because she actually used to work with Death Row. And who was the CEO of Death?
Should have been gone after that. Man. First day? Oh no. You already knew you were about to be in for it. Dang.
Row, that is Suge Knight, one of Diddy's many arch nemesis. And so she said that she described her previous relationship with Suge Knight as he is actually the father of her best friend's children. So she does not have a personal, like, intimate relationship with Suge Knight necessarily, but she just knows of him and knows him a little bit closer, mainly because of her best friend. and that he is the father of her best friend's children. And so when she was taken to Central Park around this time, this being in 2002, 2004, she said that Diddy told her if she had anything to do with Suge Knight, then there was an objection raised in court. The defense obviously objecting to that statement, but the government continued to ask her about this alleged threat, and she being Capricorn Clark had explained that Diddy was relatively calm while delaying this kind of message to her. She said that during this kind of meetup at Central Park, or during this meeting, that Uncle Paulie said nothing. He was calm as well too. He was a little stoic from her description of it. And she said, as far as the response to the threat goes, she says, well, we'll just have to see. But Capricorn said while she was on the stand that she should have just been more transparent about her relationship with Suge Knight, and that's when we start getting into the exhibit photos of just some of the security guards that we've seen a number of times through these exhibits. So we were shown a photo of D-Rock, who Capricorn Clark explained was a good friend of Biggie Smalls. D-Rock actually came on board after Capricorn Clark. Then we're showing an exhibit photo of Ruben, who's actually D-Rock's little brother, and she explained that that Ruben came after Capricorn Clark, and so did she said that Ruben came after Capricorn Clark, same as D-Rock. And then as far as Roger Bonds, we already saw an exhibit photo of him, but we saw that again today. And she explained that Roger Bonds started around the time that Capricorn Clark did. So this was around that 2004 time frame. And then slowly we start to get into the guns. And Capricorn had said that she had observed Diddy with a gun while she was being kidnapped. And obviously we're going to divulge and take that piece by piece in just a little bit. But the government asked her, that Diddy has discussed having a gun before, because there was this whole, press thing, an interview that Diddy had done with 50 Cent, and we all know Diddy's relationship with 50 Cent is not the best. And so I guess Puff, or who she refers to as Puff, said that Chris Lighty, who was Diddy's manager around that time, said that Diddy said, I don't like the back and forth, I like guns. And Puff, or Diddy, or Sean Combs as we're calling him, was actually talking about 50 Cent during that exchange. So that was automatically the start of the testimony, right, already going off with a little bit of fireworks after.
Look, y'all know how 50 Cent is and how much he be trolling. Boy, I can't wait to see his response to this. Oh, man. Because, 50 was like, Diddy tried to take him shopping, and he's looking at him like, what? But this right here with the gun, oh, man.
Kind of going into how she came to work with Diddy.
Yeah, look, when you're dealing with a racketeering case, we've said it before, we'll say it again, having the assistants, the bodyguard, the security, the people that were in that inner circle is imperative.
Yes. Because
you're trying to understand the inner workings of this criminal enterprise or this organization, but also, Diddy is ultimately charged in a racketeering conspiracy case alone. There's no other defendants, so you wonder, who did he allegedly do all of these things with? Who did he engage in this pattern of criminal activity with? But the reason she is also important is because I believe she is being used to help prove some of the underlying crimes for racketeering. When you're talking about racketeering conspiracy, the prosecution needs to prove at least 2 underlying crimes. So there's arson, there's kidnapping, there's bribery. But more specifically, what did she say regarding kidnapping? And what did she say, I believe, that may help support the forced labor allegation? Again, really, really important for racketeering. What did Capricorn Clark have to say today?
Yeah, she said a lot, Jesse. Sometimes I just have to go through my notes to see just where everything is that she had been talking about. But as far as just the kidnapping goes, and I just want to apologize, everyone. I know my voice is a little hoarse, so if it scratches off a little bit here and there, I apologize for that. But so as far as the kidnapping allegation goes, that stems from 2011. And what do we know that happens in 2011, specifically around December of that time frame? That is when we start to kind of get into the Kid Cudi and Cassie relationship. Obviously, a very huge talking point throughout a lot of this testimony, especially last week, kind of trickling into this week. And so around this 2011 time frame, Capricorn Clark is no longer Diddy's personal assistant. Now she's a global brand director. So she's around 28 years old around this time. But she said around this time frame, she was also working as Cassie's creative director and manager too. So kind of pulling those double roles. And she said as far as that role of being a creative director, it was kind of about maximizing the optics for Cassie. And so as far as just everything with the Kid Cudi incident, Capricorn Clark explained that Cassie was seeing Kid Cudi in December of 2011. We already know this, but Cassie had asked around this time frame whether or not Kid Cudi could come on a hike with Capricorn and Cassie. And Capricorn actually said that this was going to be a bad idea because Capricorn was concerned whether or not Diddy would find out about this. And so Capricorn was explaining that Diddy had bought her phone, and so he was worried, or she was worried about Diddy seeing these text messages come through from Cassie, kind of explaining that she wanted to bring Kid Cudi on this hike that they were doing together. And so Capricorn actually explained on the stand today that she was the one who brought Cassie in to buy that burner phone, so that way it wouldn't be traced back to Cassie. That way they could talk without Diddy finding out. So that was kind of a big revelation that we learned today, because Capricorn had explained that she got Cassie this burner phone, or she went with her to Best Buy to buy this burner phone because she was afraid that they would there is an objection made by the defense, obviously, because everyone's just like, oh my God, this is now another time where Diddy allegedly threatened either Capricorn Clark or Cassie or somebody in just that fashion. But the objection was sustained, so that part is struck from the record. But Capricorn said she all of a sudden was hearing a loud banging at her apartment. And so she said that she looked through the peephole of her apartment door and she saw that Diddy was upset.
Damn.
He was pacing. His body language looked like something was kind of in his hand. So Capricorn Clark opened the door, and she said when she did, Diddy was still upset. She explained everything that he wore, from a button-down shirt, a sweater, that he had slacks that just happened to be ripped. And she said it exposed his underwear. But she said that Diddy had a gun in his hand whenever he was banging on her door. And so Diddy said to Capricorn Clark in a very angry way, why didn't you tell me who is Scott? And as we know Scott to be Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi. And so Diddy told Capricorn, get dressed, work this N-word, and that's what she said. And I will say here, Jesse, that Capricorn Clark, when she was on the stand, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as being casual, but as far as just profanity is concerned, she very much just kind of laid it all out there as far as what was said, what words were used. And so it did get a little profane during some aspects of her testimony. And so, yeah, Diddy had told her that they were going to go kill this person, and that person being Kid Cudi. And so during this testimony, I saw that Diddy was jotting down some notes during this. And so Capricorn said that she didn't want to go, but Diddy made her, and he put a gun in his waist, that same gun that he had in his hand, he put in his waist, and that Diddy still seemed mad, but this time mad at Capricorn. And Capricorn said that Diddy had never been to her house before, but once they were in the car, Diddy moved his gun from his waist to his lap now. But notably, Ruben, who we know as also Rue, but is also D-Rock's little brother, was the one who was driving the car. So it was the three of them, Capricorn, Diddy, and Ruben, aka Rue. And so Capricorn explained that she wasn't able to leave the Escalade, which I guess is the vehicle that they had driven down to. She said that everything was just happening so fast. There was no conversation going on. But they went from Capricorn Clark's home all the way down to Kid Cudi's house, or I guess all the way up to Kid Cudi's house in the Hollywood Hills. And then we're showing an exhibit photo of the Google map that shows kind of the direction of driving or direction of travel from Capricorn Clark's house to Kid Cudi's home. And then we see that same exhibit photo of Kid Cudi's front door. And so from there, Capricorn was kind of explaining she didn't know whether or not Kid Cudi was actually at his home, but Capricorn said that she had to stay in the car. Meanwhile, Ruben and Diddy went inside Kid Cudi's home. Capricorn explained that she had called Cassie and called Cassie's burner phone through all of this. And Capricorn had explained to Cassie, she said, Cassie, what the F? And she had told Cassie that she was brought to Kid Cudi's home essentially to be there so that way they can. And Capricorn actually changed the name from Cassie's burner phone over to, like, I guess her best friend's name, because she didn't want Diddy to find out that she called her, to give her the heads up. But guess what happens next? Diddy comes out, and she said that while she was on the phone with Cassie, she could hear Kid Cudi on the phone telling Cassie that this man's in my house. Those weren't the exact words that were said, but you get what I'm going with that. But and Cassie was trying to stop him because he could have been killed in this incident, according to Capricorn Clark. Diddy comes out. Diddy explains, who the F are you talking to? Diddy called that same number back, found out that that's Cassie's burner phone, then got livid knowing Cassie even had this extra phone. And so Capricorn said that Kid Cudi later pulled up to his home. He sped off later, though. And then D-Rock, Capricorn, and Rue all followed him in the same car, chased him until they essentially lost him. But then the police responded, and that's when Kid Cudi, I guess, returns back to his home. And it's interesting because I don't recall under direct or even cross-examination that Kid Cudi explaining that he actually drove to the home before.
Dude, I'm really just trying to take all this in from what we know of Kid Cudi testifying. And, you know, a lot of people were hinting about Diddy and Tupac and Biggie and all that. And again, it's explaining how violent this man can get. That sounds like a movie. He's driving in a car, speeding with the gun on his lap, like talking about we about to go kill. Like, come on, man. Yeah, it's looking real bad, real bad.
That's when Kid Cudi, I guess, returns back to his home. And it's interesting because I don't recall under direct or even cross-examination that Kid Cudi explaining that he actually drove to the home before the police arrived. But according to Capricorn Clark, that's what she kind of said happened. But she surprisingly said that Diddy was relatively calm when he saw the police sirens going over to Kid Cudi's home. But that afterwards, Capricorn, Diddy, and Ruben all went to the Key Club. And Diddy told Capricorn to essentially call Cassie and tell her to come over here. And Cassie said, okay, well, come get me. So Diddy told Cassie to tell Kid Cudi not to tell the police that Diddy was the one allegedly behind it and not to make a police report about the incident. The Capricorn told Kid Cudi as well, too, not to file this police report, and that Kid Cudi was essentially mind blown. There was another objection. That objection was sustained, so maybe the mind blown won't be in the transcript. But after this event happened, and after this, because this was just them going into the home, that Capricorn and Cassie went over to Diddy's house, and Diddy began.
So it's so loud right now. I know we got the sirens going on. This is the beauty of a live shot right outside the federal courthouse. But look, just from my point of view, look, this is really, really important testimony.
Raw and uncut. Raw and uncut. But yeah, everything she's saying is like, this is really, 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 really bad. This is someone who already had got threatened from day one. Yeah, this is bad. See what he's gonna say here.
Because it helps establish this alleged kidnapping. It helps to back up what Kid Cudi had testified to. It helps to describe and back up and corroborate with what Cassandra Ventura had testified to. All this idea that the jury has to believe that Sean Combs was essentially a mob boss, that he was running this criminal organization and had people, engaging in this kind of behavior. And I'll pick it up back to you because the sound stopped. But, also real quick, she talked about her work. And she talked about being forced. I mean, if we're talking about forced labor, it wasn't just the hours. I mean, she talked about the hours she had to work as well, but also the kind of circumstances of her job too, right?
She did, and as I'm trying to go through my notes, everyone, that's also the beauty of the live shot, is writing or finding your place where you'd wrote down everything, because you write down so many notes, I should say. But as far as just the overworking that she did, she said on a good night she got 4 hours of sleep, and then on a bad night she got 2 hours of sleep. I personally think 4 hours of sleep is kind of a bad night, but according to her, that was just pretty typical. She said that she even got stress-induced alopecia from working with Diddy. She even had to go to a doctor. She said that around that time frame she was making about $65,000 as her salary as a personal assistant. But the thing is, Jesse, she went to HR, and HR calculated Capricorn's overtime, and she said that she had enough overtime that was owed to her, totaling about $80,000 of overtime. That's a lot of money.
Damn.
But what did he do whenever he was shown kind of this paper receipt and kind of this document that showed that she was owed $80,000 in overtime? Diddy allegedly ripped up this paper. That's what Capricorn Clark said while she was on the stand. But like a lot of the other assistants that have testified so far, including David James and George Kaplan as well, that Capricorn Clark's one of her many duties was to set up hotel rooms. And even just thinking about this time frame, right, Jesse, it's from 2004 to 2006. So this was before the Cassie relationship that she was still required to set up these hotels. She said that she would unpack a camera box. This camera box had a camera, lube, baby oil in it. She said that she had to unpack Diddy's clothes, his shoes, a toiletry bag, which the toiletry bag was that Louis Vuitton bag that allegedly kind of still the same old tricks, it seems like, too, from just booking these hotel stays, that if it was one of Diddy's girlfriends, because again, this was before Cassie Ventura, that the name for the girlfriend would be Jackie Starr, a same alias that was used by Cassie. She had explained that as far as the names for the hotel reservations for Diddy specifically, she said that those could be either Frank Black, they could be Frank White. She even said that during some of these hotel stays that he being Diddy would stay at the hotel with Kim Porter, and this would be something that would happen at least once a week, but there were other girlfriends who would stay at the hotel too. And then even in the aftermath of everything, Jesse, it's kind of that same old thing where she would pack up all of his stuff and clean up after him, and what was kind of on the walls and kind of the stickier stuff that's found inside these hotel rooms, it was baby oil. So it was interesting kind of hearing that even before the Cassie Ventura relationship goes, that Capricorn Clark was essentially doing the same type of responsibilities that other assistants did while Diddy was with Cassie, and even after the fact.
Right. Well, listen, we have a lot to break down with her testimony and what to make of it. But Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much for the in-depth report. It feels like I'm, reading the transcript. That's how detailed.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna look at some of the comments here. Her first comment said, "I can't wait to hear what 50 Cent has to say about all this." I'm gonna see if he posted something. Look, for all the people who've been waiting and wondering, it's here. Week 3 is here, and now we're starting to get into more. I don't know who was going to be testifying. Now that you're getting a lot of people who are close to Diddy are speaking out, and I was wondering if they was going to. Yeah, man. Just the fact that him telling her to come on, we about to go get Kid Cudi, that is very damaging to him. If I'm on that jury, I'm just like, you're just seeing how violent. Not only that, like the fact that security isn't intervening. Oh, sorry, I just had to read something else when they were talking about when Diddy found out about Cassie and Kid Cudi, that Capricorn Clark, when she was witnessing him, like as far as what he did to her in that hotel, what we saw, he was doing that to her when Capricorn Clark in front of her and in front of security, basically from all the way to in the house to the street, he was doing that to her, and Capricorn Clark was so scared and nervous because Diddy had a gun, but security wasn't intervening. She didn't want to call the police, so she called Cassie's mother and said that he's doing these things to your daughter. You need to call the police. And I already know people going to be like, why wouldn't she call the police? Diddy's right there got a gun in his hand. You think she going to be able to be like, hello, 911? Diddy going to be like, you know what I mean? Just had to add that to the video. But it ain't looking good at all. And I feel like more stuff is going to continue to come out. Everybody's saying he's cooked. He's cooked. He's cooked. Yeah. I gotta go find if 50 Cent has said anything, because that right there, yeah. Hey, appreciate y'all coming over and watching though, man. Peace out. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.